Oh, it says live on Facebook.
Yes, we are live. We're finally live on Facebook.
Nice.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone on Zoom, everyone on Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. And if you're here joining us on Zoom, say hello in the chat box. We'll be using the chat to just, comment, hype us up, support us because we're doing this. And it's exciting, a little nerve-wracking, but all good all together. And we also have the Q&A option. And the Q&A option is the option you will use, or you can use it to ask any questions for Heru throughout. And we will have a chance to actually answer these questions towards the end of our conversations. Welcome to Warriors of Light. This is a masterclass series with humans of African descent, and we are here all about spirituality, healing, well-being, and the evolution of consciousness. And we're just doing this for Black joy, Black archiving, Black abundance, all the good Black things, essentially. Welcome, Heru. Heru is our first guest to the show, and we're so excited to have you here, Heru Divine. How are you?
Greetings. I want to thank you, Joy, for having me on the show. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling divine. I'm blessed to be here to share the wisdom and uplift our people.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. I was very, grateful for your prompt acceptance to this invitation. And I'm really excited to have this conversation today with you, which is the power of meditation. And it's like such a potent and important conversation, especially right now in our world with everything that's going on. And so I'm really excited and looking forward to explore this conversation, which can feel simple, yet it's also very, very out there. So I'm really looking forward to see where we're going to go with this conversation. I do want to begin this by sharing your bio, sharing Heru Divine's bio, so that we know a little bit more about you, and you can tell us more as we go along. Right. So Heru Divine Zenji is a spiritual teacher, coach, and advocate of traditional African culture. He currently teaches meditation, breathwork, and guides people in discovering their own divinity to heal and awaken themselves. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, raised in Jamaican culture, he has taught meditation and breathwork, coached and hosted Satsangs, spiritual workshops, that's what it means, in the US, the UK, South Africa, and Botswana, which is a cool thing because I am here in Botswana, right? Although we didn't meet when you were here, but very cool.
Yes.
In 2017, he studied meditation at the Osho Ashram in Rishikesh, India, and we also have a cute thing about the Osho Center. We'll talk about it as we go along. In 2018, he completed a Raja Yoga course with Brahma Kumaris. In 2018, he led a guided meditation at Tounche, a conscious summit at the cradle of humankind in South Africa. In 2019, he completed a Vipassana Meditation Course in Worcester. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, but that's in South Africa. He has also thoroughly studied spiritual gurus such as Osho, Mooji, nosargadatta, Maharaj. Probably not the right way to pronounce it, but yes. And psychologist Dr. Amos Wilson. He has also studied traditional African cultures of Egypt, Ethiopia, Burkina Faso, and South Africa. Yes. We are so excited to have you here. You have done so much with meditation, right?
Yes.
So let's begin there. A little bit about you and your journey with meditation.
Okay, I started my journey with meditation in 2017. I was at a point in my life where I was lost, I was confused, and I was dealing with anxiety. Um, I just didn't have an answer for any of the problems I was facing in my life. I didn't have any guidance, so I was just like, whimming it and, just trying to survive and still dealing with life, but not knowing what to do. And so I took a trip. I went to Jamaica, and when I went to Jamaica, I was introduced to this book called Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Someone saw that I was experiencing and I was showing signs of anxiety and confusion and all these things. So that book was my introduction to spirituality, Eastern spirituality. And they spoke a little bit about meditation in it, but it wasn't too big on it. I still wasn't really practicing it. And then that book had led me to find gurus like Osho and Mooji. And it was through those two people, especially Osho, because he focuses more on meditations. I started to engage in the meditations and wanted to seek out and learn about meditations and see how it could help me deal with the problems I was dealing with in my life and center me and make me discover who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I find that a lot of our spiritual journeys often begins with an introduction to the West philosophies or Eastern philosophies, and it can sometimes even feel like some tools don't exist in our own cultures as Black people, and our tools are also not reachable, right? So usually when people think of like meditation, it feels very Eastern, Indian, and perhaps Western as well, but never really
Yes.
something that we can utilize as Black people as well. And you had an interesting perspective last time in our call about meditation and Black culture and so on, and how it's a tool that's actually accessible and probably always has been there.
Yes.
Can we talk more about this tool and how it is also available for us as Black people?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that because the accessibility you were saying, first thing came to my thought was the things that usually are good for us is demonized. And because it's demonized, we then think we run away from it. We don't embrace it. And when we don't embrace it, right, the meditations, the traditional African healing forms, when we demonize it and think it's witchcraft or evil or whatever the case may be, we lose the opportunity to allow these modes and these healings and these techniques to transform our lives. So going forward to meditation, meditation is something that our ancestors have done since the beginning of time. I mean, if you go back to study ancient Egypt, which is, what we call ancient Kemet, right? We practiced meditation. It was a part of our rituals. As if many people don't already know about ancient Egyptian culture, it is the fathers and the mothers of civilization. So everything that you see now in probably the West, you may glorify or whatever the case may be, the basis of it and the root of it, and even the techniques and the technologies and the symbols and everything that you can even think of right now that exists today that may be cool, the root is Egypt. The root is ancient Ethiopia, ancient Egypt. So when we demonize these things, we lose our access and the power, because that's where our power is in. Our power is in meditation, hence the power of meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want people to know that it's an African form, right? Egypt is in Africa. So it's ours, right? When people talk about meditation, or when we see other people that probably Westerners, right, who speak about meditation or yoga, we think it's not ours, it's theirs. No, it's ours, right? So we need to reclaim it and we need to embrace it. And when we do, we're going to see our communities in the West and also in Africa be transformed by reclaiming our spiritual techniques.
Yeah, I love that. Just a couple of hours back, I was reading through a post. Someone was talking about the lost civilizations and the lost nations. And they mentioned how ancient Egypt, ancient Ethiopia, and then they also mentioned the Galanga tribe, which is a tribe here in Southern Africa, which is connected to Great Zimbabwe. It's also connected to the Lozi nation, which originally comes from the Congo. They're talking about how those are the three great civilizations, and almost all of us come from somewhere between the three civilizations. You know, and these great civilizations are lost to us, and we've lost the technologies, the techniques that they used to have and that they used to know. And so it often feels like we are children in Africa when we start to think about spiritual healing tools and technologies, particularly that are beyond the external. Because I think what we have preserved in Africa is we still have preserved the, our cleansing practices, connecting with the elementals, going to the waters, to the mountains. That is still in, still available and accessible. But now when we get to meditation, which is such an inner experience, that has not been really being retained. And I wonder why that is. Why is it that meditation is not accessible, one, in general in our world? Why is it that we fear it? And why is that?
Well, again, I would say it's been demonized religiously, right? So our people globally are Christians, right? Predominantly Christian nations and Islam, right? So we're under Judaic religions, and these religions have demonized other forms of spirituality, right? Ancient forms of spirituality and techniques that are really, really, really good for you has been demonized. And so it's in our subconscious mind, right? When we hear about meditation or when we see certain symbols, we already classify it as demonic, right? So this is where we lose it. And then on the other hand, again, it's like, remember the separation of, oh, that's what Chinese people do or Buddhist people do or what Caucasians do. So it's not African. We have this thing where we like to separate ourselves and say these things is African and these things is non-African. So I think that has allowed us not to really go within. And on top of that, we don't really want to take the responsibility to go within ourselves and deal with what we're dealing with. We want to put that responsibility on someone in the sky, right? And we want to say, oh, anything that happens, it's either God is going to take care of it, or anything that happens badly, it's the devil that did it. We never look in ourselves and say, well, I did it, and I did it because I wasn't aware of my thoughts. I wasn't aware of my actions. I wasn't aware at all. So my thoughts and my actions created a dynamic that whatever happened to me, the experience. But because I'm in this mode of just living without being observant of my own self, I then blame others and say, oh, it was their fault. And the reason why I'm suffering is because of other people, and or we'll blame God. Sometimes you'll be like, God, why you did this to me? God, why are you doing this to me? I'm praying, I'm doing, and you're not blessing me and all these various things. So we have to take the accountability for ourselves now as human beings. We're in the age of awakening, and it's time that we do this. And I think that's why meditation is becoming more popular as well, because we're no longer placing our problems on somebody in the sky, right? Somebody we've never seen in the sky. We now need to look within ourselves and say, yes, there's a higher power, of course, but also what is it that's within me that I can change so that I don't have to even put all the problems on other people or on God in the sky.
I love that. I love that. There is definitely a fear of being responsible and being in our power. I feel like what has happened, particularly to us Black people, is that our power was shifted, right? It was removed from ourselves and from our ancestral helping spirit to something different. And it's really, yeah, it's such a big problem that we have. And so the inner self is an aspect of ourselves that we don't really know. Right?
Yes.
And meditation is that tool that allows you to get to know your inner self. And another thing about meditation is, I don't know what your experience has been, but meditation for me, when I came to it, it was a great tool for me to like kind of escape and just be there in my mind and think about all the great things I want for my life. And then later on, as I really saw the power of it and I deepened my path with it, I saw it as an opportunity to truly know all of joy, which is, you know, the good, the light within me, as well as the dark and the shadow within me, that I probably never have time to see when I am in the world and living and being within experiences. And then when I come into meditation, this is when I get to see everything from a perspective where I am both the subject, but I'm also objective outside the subject, and I can see what's actually really happening in my life. So, can we talk about like just meditation itself as a tool for us to get to know the inner self and for us to reclaim our power as well as to begin the process of healing?
Okay. I'm happy that you mentioned that, because this is actually the huge benefit of meditation, is that you get to know who you are, right? As you said, you get to know, you get to realize, you get to see that I am the observer observing my reality, as well as I'm the projector. So when you get to see that and understand that, you get to see, wow, I'm able to then create the reality I want. So I'm able to insert that which I want to experience, as well as observe that which is experiencing, and then also shift my mindset and how I respond to things in my life. That is your power. Your power is your observation. Your power is your projection, right? So now when you're not meditating, when you're not tuning in with yourself, you're then being led by other people. So you're more susceptible to domination or enslavement, because you're not aware of your own power. Your power is within you. If you tap into your power, you are able to express it, and then that's how you are able to lead. You see? So we have to get back into our self and wake up to our own true essence, because that is going to dictate our life moving forward. And we're capable of getting all the things that we desire and manifesting. But if we don't sit down and take that time to, as you say, observe and then plan and then formulate, right? We're then not going to be able to move forward into the goals and the experiences and manifest all the things that we want, because everything is possible through you. There's no, I said this yesterday as well on my Instagram, that all things are possible through you. Meaning your ancestors' energy, the DNA that your ancestors had, that same ancestral DNA, is within you. So you can tap into that and you can manifest through them what you need to experience. So
Yeah.
instead of go ahead.
I love that. I love it, all of it. Yeah. So many questions, but yeah, okay, continue.
Yeah, so a lot of the times I'm happy you spoke about power, because even that term power has been demonized, right? They want you, the powers that be wants you to be humble. They want you to sit down. They want you to relax. They don't want you to be powerful, because, of course, if you're powerful, then how can they abuse you? How can anyone abuse you if you don't? If you're a powerful person, you can only be abused by being powerless, right? So this notion of going back to demonizing meditation or demonizing African spiritual traditions is something that the West have used for a long time to subjugate our people and our nations and our cultures. So if we want to reclaim our Black power, as we say, or our African power, or our African identity, or our African community, right? We want to, how we relate to each other. We then have to embrace meditation. We then have to embrace our traditional spiritual healing forms. We have to, because that is what our ancestors used in formulating and creating their civilization and healing their people, and fighting off their diseases and fighting against even evil forces, right? That's what they used, and that's what they still use even now today, in the villages, right? In the countrysides, they're still using it. So we have to, the ones that's living in the cities, right? We're living in the cities now. We have to go and fetch that and utilize that so that we can bring to wake up to our power and be able to express that and share that and lead not only ourselves, but our families and our people to a better life.
Yeah. Oh, I love all the things you're saying. The first thought that came to my mind is how so many great Black leaders, whether they were politicians, musicians, people who are at the forefront of like Black consciousness movement, they've spoken a lot about the need for us to emancipate our mind, because now the slavery has moved into the realm of the mind.
Yes.
And if we do not understand this, then we will always be enslaved. And
Right.
we will be convinced that we're not enslaved because we don't see ourselves suffering in the physical. But really, when we do look at our lives and our experiences and just the status quo of Black communities, you can see how much this mental slavery is actually controlling our lives, controlling the experiences that we have as Black people, right? So that was the first thing that came to my mind. And the second thing that I really loved is about how the ancestral DNA of Black people, like it's alive within us. And I think that sometimes we don't even really understand what we mean when we say, when you heal yourself, you're healing your ancestors. Because I don't think we really get that our DNA is actually a technology, right? Like it's a tool within you, a living, breathing, vibrational artifact alive within you that allows you to connect with all these great ancestors that have lived before, and all the knowledges that we right now feel like we lost this knowledge. It's never lost. And we spoke about this at that time, about how there is an illusion that we lost our knowledge. And you're like, no, I hope you remember what I'm talking about. Can we talk about like the accessing of knowledge and how meditation can open us up to accessing divine and ancestral knowledge, and anything else that we right now feel like we don't know, it's already within us. We can know it if we go with it. Yeah.
I'm happy that you said that, because and I think I seen someone comment about I use meditation as a form of relaxation, and that's beautiful. Meditation has many benefits. You definitely, by meditating, you definitely become a more relaxed individual. You're able to control your emotions. We want to do that. We don't always want to react when somebody's reacting against us, right? So we want to be able to control our emotions. But what the most powerful thing what meditation does is open up that vortex to the ancestral realm. And that allows all the information, everything that you ever need. If you're ever going through something, and I've had many experiences where I don't have the answer, and I go into meditation, and literally the answer comes through meditation. So that's showing me that the reason why it wasn't coming through is because I was overthinking. So when I relaxed and I stopped myself and I paused, my ancestors said, "Here you go. This is what you need." and and that's how you know this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be being still and allowing communication with our ancestors to flow through us so that they can help us. So the whole ancestor thing, I think even for our people, we're now getting back into it fully and trying to understand it as a collective. Let me speak for the American culture. In America, we are, obviously far removed from Africa. Many of you, like Joy and your people, you come from there, right? Even though you went through colonization, you still have a lot of your roots. You still have a lot of the healing close to you. As for us, we are so far removed from that our forms of spirituality is now coming through we're now going fetching it, right? We're going to, a lot of people are dabbling into the Ifa. A lot of people are going into the Sangoma. A lot of people are doing meditation, yoga. We're trying to fetch, and it's a reason. There's not a coincidence that Black people all over the world is returning and reclaiming their traditional ancestral knowledge. It's because the ancestors are saying it's time, and they're forcing things to happen, and they're forcing us to get back and connect with that. And meditation is that aspect of reclaiming that. That's one part of it. That once you meditate and you open up the portals and you open up that the airways, I would say, you allow your ancestors to communicate with you. And you can do this every day. Like, wouldn't you want to communicate with your ancestors every day? So it allows you to keep grounded. It allows you to keep they call it downloads, right? Keep downloads coming in and downloading the things that you need to carry out everyday life.
Yeah. It's so powerful. As we're talking about it, I'm thinking about a tribe. It's called the Khoisan,
Yes.
which is one of the original civilizations of humankind, right? And there's a story, my sister loves this story so much. There's a story of how, if you are part of the Khoisan tribe, if you have any illness, the community will come and they will begin to sing for you in the language. And if you know the language of the Khoisan, it's the Click Khoisan or
Yes.
Right? That's not a language. People might think I actually know how to speak Khoisan. I don't. But that sound, right? It has this ability to take you into a meditative state and a meditative trance. And it is said that when they begin to sing for someone who is not well, they will sing until sunset, the next day, sunrise, and a person who was at the brink of death will literally leave that communion, walking back home, totally healed. And every time I hear the story, I get chills, because I think we don't understand how the divine, the original divine, the holy divine light, healing energies are so available for us to access them. And we can access them through, most of the time, it's through elevating our consciousness. And
Yes.
music can elevate your consciousness, meditation
Yes.
can elevate your consciousness. And it is through that elevation of consciousness that you open yourself up, you let go of the mental slavery, all the thoughts, all the ideas that tell you I can't possibly heal this. They just
Yeah.
drop, all the illusions drop, and then it's just you, your ancestors, and God, and a
Yes.
miracle happens all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So can we
Yes.
speak about this elevation of consciousness and how, for you, in your experience, uh, what happens each time we do this elevation of consciousness? Yeah, and what's also possible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Elevation of consciousness. So again, like, it's all about repetition. As you begin to meditate more and more, you're going to find more about yourself. You're going to find out more about yourself. You're going to start to see things more in your reality. There's going to be more downloads that's taking place within yourself. So what that's going to allow is your growth, your spiritual growth. You're going to be growing at a rapid pace. That elevation is going to make you start changing your outlook, right? Your vision, your how you carry yourself. You might start to speak differently, right? If you've been cursing, or if you're someone who's very negative to people, you see that you start to become positive. You start to speak words of wisdom. I call it divine speech, right? You start to have divine thoughts. So now you'll be able to think thoughts that is healthy for yourself, loving thoughts, and also you're able to express loving thoughts to others. Um, you may want to start changing your clothes. You may want to start dressing in how you feel. You feel like you're very spiritual. You're very light. Then you start wearing less clothes. You may want to, maybe your hair, you may want to grow your hair. You maybe want it to get to knot up, or whatever the case may be. A lot of things start to change when you actually access these downloads, and you get more information and realize your power. And this is, I know a lot of people, I'm saying this now, and I'm thinking to myself when I'm saying this, how a lot of people we're scared of change, right? We're like, oh my gosh, so if I meditate, all my life is going to change? Yes, life is always changing, and you want your life to change because you can always improve that which you're doing right now. And you don't have to worry about how your life is going to be in the next 5 years if you start to meditate. Don't worry about that. Just consistently do it, and you're going to go through it, and your life is going to change, and the universe is going to send people around you to help influence that. And I'm gonna be real with you, is you're going to have rocky times, and without, even if you don't meditate or not, you're still going to have rocky times, because life is ebbs and flows. The duality of life is um, uh, pleasure and pain, right? And you're always moving through that contrast of pleasure and pain. The goal is to get to the point where you're in the middle, as Buddha called it, the middle path, where you're not engaging in the pleasure, but you're not engaging in the pain. That doesn't mean that you don't have fun. That doesn't mean that you don't experience things. It just means that you're able to experience things without uh, being attached to the pleasure and being attached to the pain. Yeah. So these are, it's a, I can say, just from my experience of how meditation has transformed my life. I used to be depressed. I was lost. I was confused. I didn't know what I want to do with my life. I didn't have any support, parental support, or anything. And since I took up meditation and spirituality, I'm now Heru Divine, right? I'm a teacher, I'm a guide, I coach people. I'm able to walk with my head high, and I can walk through any room confident, and I can speak words of wisdom, words of love, words of encouragement. Um, I feel like I'm a free person. I feel like a free man. I feel like I can go wherever I want to go. I can do whatever I want to do. And I'm able to just be at peace with myself, even when things don't go the way I perceive things. The first feeling may come up where I may feel down at first, but that 1 minute or 2 minutes, or maybe even 5 minutes, or maybe even 20 minutes, it quickly shifts back to realizing that nothing is permanent. So that feeling of depression, or that experience that may have taken place, will not be your whole life outcome. And then also, I've learned to look at things as, if something didn't work out, it means it wasn't meant to, right? And that was just a lesson for you to learn in that experience, so you can become a better person. So all these things will come into your life, start to change, and you start to want to seek out more wisdom and read more books and go on more travel excursions and do different things. And a lot of things will change, but I guarantee you, the change that you may be scared of is the change that you need.
Yeah. I was reading something today. I think I'm always reading, but yeah, I was reading someone who was talking about what the unknown is, and how for us, most of the time when we think about the unknown, we associate the unknown with monsters, demons, everything negative.
Yeah.
But really, the unknown is actually new possibilities, new opportunities, like new life, right? So on the other side of that which you do not know is your new life, a new chapter, new people to love, new path to walk and enjoy and, be part of. And I really, really love that, because I think that we can be so attached to our identity right now, and our ideas of how then our lives are supposed to be, as, say, Joy, the African woman who is a psychologist and a spiritual healer. This is how my life should be, right? And the pain comes when they start being cracks around my identity, where now I start realizing, oh, actually being a spiritual healer doesn't mean your life is perfect all the time. There's still pain. This is the world of duality. And it is in the meditation that you will actually keep dropping all these identities that you're so attached to. And really, meditation is the path to, it's where you will really experience the law of detachment, which is very difficult to do if you're constantly thinking and never sitting down and just going within, right? So I really, really love this. And I really love just this dropping in of all the illusions and allowing a new life to emerge in front of you. And I feel like right now in 2020, there is something happening where we are all being asked to drop our stories, our identity, all the illusions that we have, what we think is important, and all the plans that we had. By March, for most of us, everything just kind of like collapsing. You're like, what is life? And there's been a leaning into meditation, actually, more people coming into meditation. So I had someone asking, they do want to participate in meditation, but they find themselves distracted, and just 5 minutes feels like it's a lot, right? And if there are any ways that someone can really fall in love with meditation such that they can do this on a consistent basis. And it made me think about my own journey with meditation. I have been on the journey since 2009, so 11 years. But I would say that I became a consistent meditator in 2017. That's when I would do it every single day, right? So just thinking about someone who is beginning, that meditation journey, and they're struggling and they want to use this tool, but they're struggling. What can you say to this person who's at the beginning and they really want to show up to the meditations on a consistent basis such that they can have that transformation you are talking about?
Yeah. I mean, you know, most people, when you start out to do anything in life, you're not good. You're an amateur. But your consistency of practice allows you to get better. It's the same thing with meditation. You have to consistently be meditating and trying. At first, the first few experiences, you're going to have the monkey mind. The mind is going to be going, it's going to be going, it's going to be going. But what I would tell people to do is when your mind is going, just focus on your breath. The meditation that I teach is a simple breath meditation where you just focus on the inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, right? And every time thoughts come up, you just go back to the breath. You focus on the nostril area and you just focus, because whatever you focus on, that's where your attention is going to go. So if you focus on the breath, or maybe you have a candle, you light a candle, just stare at the candle. You know, there's your third eye you can focus on. You just need to find something else that you can focus on. And that focus on that is going to allow those thoughts to dwindle, because the thoughts can only control you or even have any validity by you entertaining it. So when you put your focus on something else, it will shift. And that is how that's how your meditation is going to grow, and you're going to consistently be doing it. And you're going to see 5 is going to turn into 10, 10 is going to turn into 20, 20 is going to turn to 30. And you're going to be so happy to just be lost within meditation and just be with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. It is. Yeah, practice makes perfect, really. And the more we also shift our why we're coming into meditation, right? So instead of like, oh, I just want to do meditation, they can be that idea of coming to it because it's cool and someone said I should do it. And then if you shift that to I really want to manage my anxiety, and this is a tool I can use for that. And if you're feeling anxious and you say, okay, let me take that deep breath and just keep breathing and just be still, and let me allow the anxiety to move through me, and then it will just drop. You know, that for me, that's when meditation started to work, when it became, oh, this is the way for me to connect with my ancestors. If I want to communicate with them, someone said, prayer is talking to God, and the meditation is receiving the answer of God.
Yes.
Okay. So how will I receive the answers? Right. So to receive them, you must be still, so that God can drop the answers that you asked in your prayer. Right. So they go together. So having that shift and realizing that prayer, you're talking to God, and meditation allows you to receive back feedback from your ancestors, from God, from whoever you believe in, right? That is a communication tool. And also you could use it for the body, for managing the experiences of the body. Like when I'm feeling anxious, like what you're saying, the breath really helps me. Breathing 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and after a while, things just drop off, right? Yeah. So, but you actually are going to take us on a brief experience of meditation right now, right? So for those who want to just get a little bit of like what meditation will feel like, let's get ready, and Heru is going to guide us on a brief meditation, not more than 10 minutes. So yeah, okay, Heru, we can begin.
All right. So with meditation, you just want to sit straight up, right? You want to keep your spine erected, or you can lay down flat on the bed or on the ground, however, or you can sit down in a chair and keep have your foot to the ground and just make sure you sit comfortable. Basically, you want to be in a comfortable position, right? Then you want to close your eyes. And as you're closing your eyes, just be aware of the nostril area, right? Just be aware of your nose. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of your inhale and your exhale. The inhale and the exhale. And that is simply meditation. What I would advise is before beginning meditation is you want to take some deep breaths, right? So we can do 3 deep breaths. So you inhale through your nose and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And just remain present with your eyes closed and just focus on your breath. For most of you, it might be your first time actually being aware of your breath, aware of your natural breath patterns. Whatever thoughts may come up, just go back to the breath. You may open your eyes now.
Ooh. Yeah, we were going deep just there. Yeah. I was beginning to float and forget that we're here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that was so good. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. And your guests, everyone who's tuned in, I'm sure you feel different than what you start before you started. You must feel much different, much lighter, much calm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a powerful tool for coming back to the self and becoming aware. Yeah. So we are going to open up some questions. If you have any questions you would like to ask Heru, if you are on Zoom in the Q&A, there's an option for Q&A you may ask, right? Yes. Let us know how you are feeling actually. Whether you're on Facebook or here on Zoom, let us know how you're feeling. How was your experience? Yeah, I think we would like to know, Heru would like to know how your experience was like. Yeah. So it was interesting for me because I became aware of my body and I just started to travel into my body and became aware of actually a sharp pain behind my back, in the back area, that I wasn't aware of before. And it only took 5 minutes for me to become aware of this. And I was still at the point of trying to just commune with this pain and figure out where is it coming from and what is it really inviting me to become aware of, right? And then, yeah, floated and then I went back. But yeah, this is how powerful it is. You could literally now return to the body and just discover so much about yourself, and you can then take, yeah. So people are feeling so much calmer and relaxed. This is coming from Facebook. We've got Sandy, who really loves how she's centered now. Nongula is feeling much calmer. Natasha, I feel different because my reactions are different as well with how I handle things. And Matiliso is feeling much more relaxed and calmer. Thank you, Facebook, for sharing. Spembile is feeling calm and alert, and Bosa is definitely feeling lighter. That was powerful. This is Bosa saying that was powerful.
Beautiful. May I add something else?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, it's funny that you mentioned that you could see your body and feel things differently, right? So I want to center in on what that is, right? So when we meditate, we begin to discover that which we are beyond the body. What we're really searching for is to realize that we are spirit operate in the body. You know, what we've been taught to believe is we are our names, our identity, our form, how we look, and we don't really know about spirit that operates this body, right? And it's that spirit within you and within all human beings that when we access that spirit and realize and connect with it and know that this is really who we are beyond this physical shell, that is what is going to give us our power, and we're going to be able to utilize that and work to see people as that too, because that same spirit is within all. So when we see each other as spirits and not just bodies, the differences, the judgments, the things that we judge externally, will start to fall away because we realize, well, we're just spirits having a human experience.
I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
particularly the word where spirit operates in the body. That is just so big,
Yeah.
because it always feels like it's the other way around, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There is the ideology that actually we are inside the spirit body, like the
Mm-hmm.
spirit is outside the body, not really inside. So that
Yes.
is the one moving the vehicle, and it's so profound because you then become aware of something beyond yourself, this divine self. And
Yes.
now there are a lot of words for that: the higher self, the oversoul, the divine self. And um, and how healing is about returning to this connection with the spirit self and
Yes.
surrendering to the spirit self, because the spirit self sees way much more than you could possibly even imagine. Right? So
Yes.
moving away from thinking it's your mind that can control your life to
Yes.
let my spirit self lead my life, which totally changes your experiences. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, so good. I love that. Uh, um, so a question from Constance, she had asked earlier, and I thought that that was a very good question, even though she says the answer came to her. But I really loved when she was talking about how do we teach children how to meditate and tap into their own spirit and power, for those who are parents and they will like to begin teaching their children this technology from a young age. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's in the same way how you would teach yourself, right? You will, sit your child down and just explain to them the process of meditating and do it with them, because children imitate their parents. They want to be like their parents. They want to be accepted. They feel they seek that attention. So just find time to say, okay, instead of putting on the video games or the cartoon or whatever the case may be, sit down with your child and close your eyes and let them know to focus on their breath. And that's how you teach your kid to meditate. It's very simple. Meditation is not a difficult art form. It's not something that you have to go 10 years to practice to learn how to meditate. It's very simple. There's many different techniques of meditation, but the simple technique of breath work, of just focusing on your breath, is something that anyone can do at any time in any place. And that's why it's just very personal, it's very individual, it's very universal, and it's beautiful because it doesn't require too much.
Mm, yeah. My
Mhm.
grandmother loves to sit under the tree. I think I told you this story. She
Yes.
loves to sit under the tree. And when you ask her, Grandmother, what are you doing under the tree? She says, keep heady. And
Mm.
this is something I've experienced so many times. My grandmother
Mm.
listening to herself, because
Mm.
huiphetsa in Setswana, when you
Mm.
translate that to English, is I'm listening to myself, but
Mm.
she's actually saying I'm listening to my inner spirit. She's actually saying I
Mm.
am in meditation, right?
Wow.
And that for me was like, oh, so this has always been there. It's a very simple thing of listening to the inner spirit, connecting
Yes.
with yourself. And we just did that with you, and it took us 5 minutes. That
Yes.
was so beautiful, so powerful. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Just one last message from Constance, and then Heru, you can just share with everyone on how they can connect with you, and yeah, the many different ways that they can continue the path with you. But
Okay.
wanted to share this message from Constance. She's saying, "I'm feeling so encouraged. I've been hesitant to make the move to the Gambia. I don't know anyone there. I don't have enough money, on and on and on. I always want to have control through knowing what to expect. Now I have an understanding that I can deal with anything that comes up, and I will flourish in Africa. The ancestors and God will be there to love and be with me wherever I'm moving. I'm
Ashe.
enough to have a wonderful experience there. Ashe. Fear and
Mm,
anxiety of moving to the Gambia have left, and I cannot wait to get there. Oh, thank you
mm.
so much, Constance, for sharing. And she's saying, thank you, Joy, for bringing Heru Divine to us. So much
Thank you.
gratitude for you, Heru, for coming through. There's
Thank
also a
you.
lot of love coming also at Facebook. And yeah, this has been such a beautiful experience there. And you can share more. Before you do, this is one last question. Does your position with meditating matter at all? And then you can share about how people can
Um,
connect with you. Yeah.
okay. Position of meditating. This is why I said you can sit straight up or you can lay down, right? But you want to be still and you want your spine to be erected or basically stayed in one position. You don't want to be hunched over meditating, right? You want to allow the energy to flow through your spine and through your third eye and your consciousness. And these are deeper things that we can get in, but you just want to know that with meditation, you just want to allow the energy to flow through the body. And when you're standing straight up or you're laying down, you're allowing the access of the flow to just flow easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And also, it just really helps for, as a beginner, for your mind and body to not think you're trying to sleep. So
That
just be,
too.
you know,
Yes. That's why
that's
I would recommend sitting up straight actually first before you lay down, because laying down can make you fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point, Joy.
Yeah, that I saw a huge difference when I started to just like not do it in the bed. And it's just like, okay, I'm gonna sit in lotus position, and I've been able to then be there for.
Froze again. I think we lost Joy. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Hello. Sorry. Yes, Constance. Since Joy is not here right now, the way how you can reach me is I'm available on Instagram, right? At Heru Divine Zenji. You can find me on Instagram, as well as um, on Facebook, Zenji Medi. So what I do is I offer coaching sessions and guidance sessions, right, via online. And if you want to learn more about that, you can reach me on Instagram. You can send me a DM at Heru Divine Zenji, HeruDivinZenji. Also, you can text my WhatsApp number to 1-929-605-8293. Again, 1-29605-8293. And we can continue more sessions of coaching where I will teach you more meditation techniques, breath work, as well as encourage you, empower you. Um, I help deal with traumatic experiences, goal setting, and all these things that are available. All right. I want to thank you guys again for this time. And yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day and keep up the meditation. The best, I would advise to meditate in the morning, right? When you first wake up. You could start with 10 minutes and then before you go to sleep at night. Okay?